Good morning, cultists and anti-cultists, and those joining us from the great beyond via the Mandela effect. This is the Cult Chaser Monica's Ghost, and this is episode 4 of Quaxxed, From Autism to Autism. Yes, I was working on this earlier, and I would love to thank the people at Vaccine Hate. I am your #1 fan, because somebody there got their pupperino vaxxed today, and she's concerned about the puppy getting autism. And of course, our great leader at Vaccine Hate pointed out that it wouldn't be autism, it would be pautism. So of course, we immediately have to check into what is going on with the pautism. It's the frothing puppies they don't want you to see. So this, I would like to thank Jay for this. J-Boy. You're going to be my J-Boy. I got Amy Kins and J-Boy and Team D over there at Vaccine Hate. You got to go visit these guys because these are the guys you want to on your team whenever you want to discuss being a pro-vaccination junkie. Like the rest of us monkeys. Yes, of course, because we don't know what we're talking about. We don't have the evidence behind us. We have nothing. We just are a bunch of cult-following echo chamber bastards who use scholarly papers and research to back up our claims. Oh, sorry. I was just drinking the Kool-Aid there for a minute. So, the new trend has been, and I've noticed this coming up. It's kind of hidden, but I've seen it talked about on in a few places and a couple of videos on the YouTubes, but nothing too major. Has been how do we, now that we've decided not to vaccinate our children, and they're and not give two shits about their health, and if we have vaccinated our children, now we will take the time to do things like what Greg Wyatt does and just show pictures and videos of our children online and talk about how much we detest and loathe the children. So now we're going to not vaccinate our animals as well, because of course the diseases that have been almost completely eradicated from the animal kingdom via our domestic little petty friends, our pupiliciouses, well, we need those to come back, because without those, how would we feel, that we don't have like zombie-like dogs running all over the universe, right? We need that. So basically, what's happening is that if you can go to several natural dog websites or to naturalnews.com. I know you guys love natural news. Every time I say natural news, Dee drinks another bottle of wine. It's fantastic. So what happens is you go to these places and you put in canines, you put in canine vaccines, you put in pets, vaccines for pets, anything like that, and you get all kinds of great stuff. As early as I could find was 2010 that this trend was really starting to take off, specifically in the UK. They're on an island, and of course, as we all know, it's scientifically proven that rabies and parvovirus does not swim across the English Channel, so I'm sure they'll be safe there. They'll be just fine. However, over at Dogs Naturally magazine, as current as early this morning, you can go to their homepage and you can find some really great stuff. Now, I've got to switch this quick because, well, I wanted to make sure I covered up the puppies' faces because, as you know, anti-vaxxers, we go out of our way not to use pictures of other people's children or pull other people's children off other people's pages and use that for our own benefit and exploitation. So I made a point of making sure that I covered up the puppies' faces for you. Okay? I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, right? Okay. So basically what the trend is to take any of the wording you've used before when you're talking about not vaccinating the babies. Oh my God, the babies. When you're not vaccinating the babies, you wanted to make sure you're not vaccinating the puppies or the kitties. Okay. So I made sure to point out to people how this has been working. So basically what we do is we come in and we write these articles, right? And we put in words, we just take the articles off of other websites, basically. They're kind of not real copied and pasted. They've been rearranged a little bit, to down to that 15% threshold where it wouldn't really be plagiarism. And then what we do is we come up with some great scary shit like, which vaccines does your dog need? Why rotavirus, parvovirus isn't as scary as you think. Okay? And then these articles, of course, what they do is you go into the article and it talks about how these diseases, they're preventable, but it's more scary to give the vaccine, and how actually there is a form of dog autism that seems to be coming up after. I'm sorry, I can't even hang on a second. Dog autism coming up from the vaccines that are given. And if you go into the parvo link at Scumbag Dogs Naturally, what you'll find is that it's pretty much a cut and paste type article of what you would do with your baby or your child, the one that's like 24 months, 48 months, 125 months, whatever, because nobody in that area seems to be able to come up with years for their kids, just months. That you quarantine your child. You just don't take them out. If you think that your child is going to get ill, you just don't take them out in public. If you know that there's a zombie apocalypse happening, but there's a zombie vaccine, well, no, we're not going to vaccinate against zombie in case they get bitten, just in case. No, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep them isolated in the house in a corner. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make all homeschooling parents look bad by homeschooling them with only kale fairies and watermelon juice for food, and teaching them only about how vaccines are the Luciferian agenda. Like I said, this trend has been going on for a while now. At Skepchick, I found an article from early as 2010, and I have to point out that she had the same thought process I did. Here she is literally discussing, I have to quote her because I love what she says. The best part of this organization, the Canine Health Concern of the UK, is the Grand High Contessa of Damascus. I love you, Rebecca Watson, and I want to have your children, and we will vaccinate them, because that was brilliant, okay? She had the same basic thought process I did. If you went from babies to puppies, if you just take, and you take any quotation from either area of this trendy, fashionable, tragically hipster parenting, whether you're parenting a child that you birthed or that your woman birthed, or you're getting a puppy, you just can replace the words back and forth. They're very interchangeable. Baby, puppy, kitty, rabbit. My favorite in this, also, if you read this article, is there was many very worried pet owners of rabbits and cats. They were concerned about the rabbits not coming when they called their names. Just thought I'd point that out. So yes, you can interchange these different names. Pet vaccination company for Big Pharma. I guess we could call them Big Vetsa. Let's call them Big Vetsa. I think that's great. I always love the little trendy names we can come up with. Parents versus pet owners. Now, of course, 6 years later, this would be pet mommies or pet parents or pet mommy daddies. Okay, pet baby mamas, pet mamas, papa mamas. Anyway, that's what you would start saying too, because it's even more trendy to refer to, and don't get me wrong, because I have two little itty bitty puppaliciouses, and I call them my babies, and I tell them I'm their mommy, but I don't spread that all over the world. Well, maybe I just did, but anyway. So that's the new trend, though, is to be the mommy and the daddy, right? Mama and dada are the papa. So you have to be so careful. Now, one of the great things in the article at Dogs Naturally is that they tell you that the parvovirus really is not that bad. It's just not. Parvovirus, actually, the dog will be fine. And most of the time, they live fine. It doesn't matter that if you just Google, and I'm not one who just Googles shit as a rule, and then just looks at what's on the front page and just screenshots it, but I just thought it was hilarious that I didn't even get to Google Scholar. I didn't even get to a reputable vet website, and I get from Canine Journal, which is an incredibly reputable journal for dogs, this, where they say that the mortality rate of dogs with parvo, if not treated, is 91%. Now, for you anti-vaxxers who can't do math, that means that if you have 100 little baby puppies, the puppy mamas, 91 of those puppy mamas are going to be, devastated by the dead puppy that they're not going to have anymore. So maybe if you vaccinated, okay, you wouldn't have this mortality rate for parvo. So, of course, even after finding that little blurb, and it wasn't necessarily scientific because I hadn't gone in and looked at the stats, but I would bet if I did and had the time on my video that I could go in and find where this information came from, and I could scientifically prove to you, anti-vaxxer, that, once again, of 100 puppies with parvo, only 9 will live. I just thought I'd point out that we appreciate that you don't actually vaccinate your dog, because this way we know who you are, because we can just walk down the street and we can look in your kale fields and see your frothingly anti-vaxxed dogs, and then we know just to stay away from your home. Now, of course, where does the money go, right? Follow the money. Because I tell you, oh, big pharma, big pharma. Now, I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. Yes, there are places in big pharma where they gut the crap out of you. We know this. Everybody knows this. But that's why you have checks and balances. But you know what? In big alt, we don't have that many checks and balances. So who is trying to get your cashola out of your greasy little hand? Or are you keeping it because you don't want to take care of your little puppy dog? Because you'd rather have them vaccinated? Oh, I don't know. If you go back to Dogs Naturally and you go to the shop page and you pick the category on the right, let's say cleansing and detox, okay? You could then purchase, I believe this one was $129.99, some detox and liver cleanse for your dog, just in case somebody vaccinated them without your permission. Just in case the nurse, when you turned your back, the vet tech suddenly jabbed your dog with the vaccination jabby. Just so you know, but even if they haven't, I need to let you know that pets with seasonal allergy and skin issues have shown remarkable improvement when detoxing before the allergens arrive. Now, let me ask a question, because I'm not the most scientifically astute person. I let the other people that I hang out with throw up a lot of that stuff because I'm not as quite there yet. I can't really get it from my mind to my mouth. Humanities major. I'm better at serving French fries. My question is, what are you fucking detoxing from if the allergen hasn't fucking arrived yet? But that's okay. We don't really need to know that, because we spent the $129.95 to take care of our puppy. Because I am an appropriate puppy mom. Okay? Appropriate puppy mom. Kind of reminds me of another place where they don't want you to spend your copays on vax, which are vaccinations, and they tell you that Big Pharma is going to take over your life after the vaccinations, although I find it strange that all my vaccinations are free and I get a kickback if I get my flu shot every year. But where should my greedy little hands put my money? Because I don't want to share with anybody. But if I was a really good mommy, and I was a really nice person, and I really was a social justice warrior, well, then I would go buy myself some Vaxxed propaganda. That's what I would buy. So there you have it, folks. Gee whiz. I think the trend is folding. I'm hoping the trend is folding. You guys have a good day. Monica's Ghost out.